Alright, so some facts about this year. Starring 7 and 12 Monkeys, Brad Pitt is also nominated Sexiest Man Alive. O.J. Simpson is acquitted of all charges of murdering his wife and a friend of hers. Mel Gibson wins 5 Oscars with his movie Braveheart. With a super aggressive marketing campaign, Windows 95 comes to life. Coolio releases Gangsta's Paradise, becoming one of the best-selling singles of all time. Comedy show Seinfeld, which is now on its 6th season, reaches number 1 on the Nielsen rankings. But there was yet another thing that will make 1995 a year to remember, a year to cherish. This was also the year when one of the most memorable games from Games Workshop was launched. And the rest, well, the rest is history. Hello everyone, welcome back to Rush the Wash. If you haven't been here before, welcome to my channel. My name is Miguel, I'm your local host, and today I have a very special video prepared for everyone around here. This is a nostalgia trip, a moment of remembrance, as we're going to discuss Warhammer Quest. Today's video is quite special. I want to share with you the process that I went through to fix the copy that I got off eBay of this outstanding game from Games Workshop. So if you're one of those people that enjoy seeing opening these old gems like Games Workshop's beautiful 1995 Warhammer Quest, give me a like, and if you haven't done it yet, please subscribe to the channel and become part of the community for Rush the Wash. As you can see, I'm opening for the first time my copy. I just got it off the mail, and I'm checking all the contents, the miniatures, the different parts, the book, the cards, and I'm seeing and assessing what needs to be done to this copy of the game. Now, the prices that this game is fetching nowadays, mostly because of the COVID-19 situation and people staying at home, are outrageous. It was never very cheap, it was a highly collectible item, but nowadays it's even more expensive. I was lucky enough to fetch myself a nice copy in very decent condition. Although the different miniatures are painted, I'm happy with that. I like fixing all miniatures that have been painted to a standard that I'm not happy with. The cardboard box, it was a little bit worn out. Mostly the cover, the top side, needed a lot of love, and I tried to fix that as well. So after assessing all the things that needed to be done, like getting rid of the paint job on the miniatures, fixing a few things here and there, and fixing the box, the game was in pretty good shape. I also paid a pretty penny for it. So, well, I mean, you get what you pay for, don't you? If you're not familiar with this game, this is the spiritual descendant of Hero Quest. Games Workshop launched Hero Quest first, then Advanced Hero Quest, and then they moved on to this one, which was called, obviously, Warhammer Quest. And the mechanics were a little bit different from previous games. On this game, the dungeons were generated randomly, so any game was always a little bit different because of that randomness. And on top of that, you could play solo if you wanted to, plotting yourself against orcs, skaven, rats, bats, spiders, all good monsters for a good dungeon crawler. So here I'm just sorting the miniatures to see if everything is present. I actually got some extras, so that was quite welcome. Some of the miniatures, like the legs on the spiders and the bats stands and the bows, are quite feeble, so they have a tendency to break, and those need to be repaired sometimes, like that orc over there. I also wanted to get rid of the paint job, so I decided that I wanted to put them in a bath of brake fluid. In order to do this, I just took the bases off the miniatures. I will take care of those later as well. And I just put all the miniatures, all the plastic miniatures, within a small tub that I will fill with brake fluid. Now, brake fluid might not be the favorite tool for some of you, but it works quite well for me and is easily and readily available anywhere. It is not very user-friendly, but it works very well with plastic, so that's why I choose it. So now it's just a waiting game. I left them there for a week or two, I don't really remember. And by that time, I use a toothbrush and just clean them off. For the cardboard box and the components inside the box, I decided that I wanted to wipe them clean before addressing any issues. As you can see, the box has been sellotaped quite heavily, but first I just wanted to clean everything and just get rid of the grime that had been accumulating in the box for a while. I repeated the process with the board sections, which were not that clean either, and with the damp cloth I just wiped all that dirt off. If you are thinking about doing something like this, make sure that you don't put too much water in your cloth or you might end up warping all your tiles. I think that not all dungeons should smell badly or be dank, so I use a little bit of Windex to clean for a second time and make sure that all the grime and all the dirt was gone. I used a hairdryer to make sure that the glue will become soft again, and this way I could remove the sellotape without making a big fuss of it. The box was ready for disassembling, and this way I could assess the damage more carefully. I then cut some stripes of paper and glued them to the corners so I could reinforce the structural strength of the box. I glued those pieces that were broken together, and I made sure that I cleaned any excess glue with a paper cloth. Whenever I needed the cardboard to be held together, I used clothespin to make sure that they stuck in the position that I want them to. After doing all that, the box was a little bit sturdier. I fixed several things on it, but some of the corners I will need to revisit in the future. Now, this is not a video tutorial on how to paint anything. I just wanted to show you how my Warhammer Quest looks as of now. So I reorganized everything. I made sure that all the pieces were put in nice Ziploc bags. All my miniatures, all the contents of the game are painted, and everything is clean and neat and once again full of life. Those of you who are aware of how the game is, you will notice some extra pieces here and there. Well, yes, I have the extra treasure packs, and because they are so expensive, I decided to sleeve all the cards. If you're not aware of the size of sleeves that you need for this game, or if you want to buy one of those big boxes for sleeving your cards and making sure that they are all kept crisp, I provided links for those below. Make sure that you check them out. Within my small collection, you will notice that I have the book for Catacombs of Terror, which is one of the most expensive things I ever seen on the internet regarding miniature collections. These expansions for the classic game are out of print and they are tremendously expensive, reaching hundreds of dollars if they are in mint condition or if they include all the miniatures and the components. Even though you might be very crazy and you might like the game a lot, I strongly recommend that you just do a search on the internet and you will find the PDFs or different miniatures that can accomplish the same results for your gaming needs. This reminds me that you can find tons of materials on the internet because the game has a strong fan base even today. Anything from cards, new adventures, new monsters, you name it, you will find it on the internet. Go to the description below and I will provide you with some nice links. The base content of the games included Snotlings, Archer Orcs, Warrior Orcs, Spear Goblins, Night Goblin Archers, Rats, Bats, Spiders, Skaven Warriors, Minotaurs, and the 4 Adventurers. But follow me into the dungeon so we can see the miniatures up close. How about we start with the first thing that all adventurers see when they come into Warhammer Quest, and that is a gate. For just something to hold 2 pieces of the board, they look awesome, don't they? Dry brush them, wash them, and they're ready to go. For some critters, we can see the bats and the rats, which I painted with a couple of washes, and the spiders, which needed a little bit of love on broken legs. Moving on to the green skin denizens of the subterranean layers, we have the orcs, for which I had to clone some old shields, as my copy of the game didn't bring any of those. Regarding the goblins, they came with plenty of broken spears, and they needed also a little bit of repairs. A couple of those were broken and needed resculpting, so the night goblins could shoot at the adventurers properly. And let's not forget about the iconic little rascals, the snotlings. And just like with the goblins, the orcs needed some repairs on the bows. And last but not least, Skaven, which I decided to paint with bright colors but rusty weapons, and the dreaded Minotaurs, for which I decided to paint with bright colors right from the 90s. Whenever you get 1d3 of those guys, you know it's going to be a bad day in the dungeon. For all the adventurers, I decided to go with a bright palette, just like with the rest of the miniatures. I like the beard of the barbarian, the red cape on the dwarf, the nice blue hat and gems on the wizard, and the green and golden cape on the elf. This is probably one of the most iconic games Games Workshop has ever released. There are plenty of materials online. Make sure that you check the groups on Facebook called Warhammer Quest and the website from Little Monk, which has tons of materials. The community is very active and they keep releasing new adventures, new cards, new stuff all the time. If you ever want to delve deep in the dungeon, Warhammer Quest is an awesome choice. Give me your like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. My name is Miguel, thank you for being here and hope to see you soon again at Rush the Wash. Bye!